Hello, everybody. So this is X No Reality, we'll say. I just wanted to go over how to set up settings for MC Command Center for The Sims 4. So to start, all you do is you need to have a computer for your sim. So you would click that and go to MC Command Center, and then you get this menu. I recently re-downloaded the mod, so what I see is what you should see if you haven't already touched any settings. So first things first, we will go straight to MC pregnancy because that is the one that controls everything population-wise. So to start, we're going to go to pregnant sim selection and ages to run pregnancy. So what this means is that these are the ages that you select that will allow these townies to get pregnant. So my game has it set to just adults, but I want only young adults to be ran for pregnancy checks. So only my young adult townie sims will get pregnant. So we'll click young adult to get this little arrow, and then I'm going to click adult to not have adults get pregnant. So now only young adult townie sims will get pregnant in my game. So now I'm going to hit back. And going down the list, we're going to go to days to run checks. This means on these days, these are the days that townie sims are likely to get pregnant, or these are the only days they will. The default is Saturday, so because my game is actually overly populated because all of my settings were set before, I'm just going to leave it at just Saturday. But if you wanted different days, you would just say I wanted Wednesdays and Saturdays, so I would click Wednesday. Now Wednesday and Saturday are going to have those checks, but I only want Saturday, so we're going to take that back and we're going to go back. Now we're going, so if you go to bypass active sim romances, this means that say my sim Sella over here, if she was dating somebody, and I went to go play as that somebody else, then she wouldn't get pregnant. So I'm going to leave that enabled because if I want to have her in a romance, I want her to stay with that one person. But if you hit disabled, that means Sims that your Sim is in a relationship with or has a romance with, they can still be qualified for pregnancy checks. Um, that's the same thing with bypass played households. That means any household that you have gone into play, they won't have kids on their own. Male pregnancy, this will allow you to have, if you want male Sims to be pregnant, basically, you can either allow it or not allow it. I'm just going to leave it at not allowed for realism, I guess. Married only. This is one I'm actually going to enable to kind of help control the amount of Sims that are getting pregnant in my game. So, but if you have it disabled, that means Sims that are married, not married, just dating somebody, not dating somebody, they can all have children. I'm going to enable this so that only Sims that are married will have children for the time being. And we'll hit back to save it. Um, Allow homeless pregnancy. This means Sims that are just kind of sitting in your manage households window are still going to be allowed to get pregnant. Um, for me, I only want Sims that I can currently go to their house and see them to have children. So we are going to keep this disabled. This is the default. This means only Sims that you can see in households will have children. Elder pregnancy penalty. I honestly don't touch this so that elder Sims don't get pregnant. I don't know that much about that one. Moving on, we are going to go down, let's see, if you go to partner sim selection, this will say if you want to allow affairs in your game, I'm going to leave it disabled to control how many Sims are having children. Enforce family, meaning, family members can get each other pregnant, which is just no thanks to me. Same or opposite sex only. Specifies whether always to use same-sex pregnancy or opposite sex only pregnancy. None will allow neither beast. I believe specifies whether always to use either same-sex pregnancy or opposite sex only pregnancy. I'm just gonna leave this one at the default for now. If you leave it at the default, I'm pretty sure it will only leave males and females being able to have children together. Use same age group. So this one, because I only have young adults able to get each other pregnant, I'm just gonna leave it alone for now. But this is saying if you enable this, this means your young adult Sims could get teenagers pregnant, or teenagers can get young adults pregnant, adults to teenagers, adults to young adults. It'll all be possible. We're just going to leave it disabled because I don't really need that right now. So that was all under MC pregnancy again. Now, if you go down to, let's see, marriage sim selection, you'll have ages to run marriage. I'm going to activate this to young adults and adults. This means my young adult townie sims and my adult townie sims are liable to get married. Let's throw in elders too. You should never be too old to find the love of your life, right? Okay. Days to run checks. So this we're going to move it to Saturdays and Sundays. So this means on Saturdays and Sundays, I am liable to have Townie Sims get married because that's always a happy thing to have happen. Bypass plate households. I'm actually going to disable this because I have a large family in the game. So I kind of need them to be able to get married as they're aging up. And then once they get married, I'll decide if they're gonna have kids or not. Okay, allow homeless marriage. You can enable or disable this. I'm personally going to leave it disabled. And there we go with that. And then, let's see. Go to other marriage. You can go to show marriage notifications. I recommend turning this on to all right here. The default is none, but if you change it to all, basically it just means you'll get a little notification pop-up box every time a sim gets married. And I recommend that so you know that the mod is working. Townies are getting married, you know who's married to who. It's just nice to know in my opinion, or maybe I'm just nosy. Okay, so that was for marriage. So we go back. Let's see, if you go to other pregnancy, I accidentally missed this. There's a notification section for pregnancy as well. And there's show birth notifications. So I always like to set this to all. This means as a baby is born, I will know who delivered it, if it was a male or a female, and what the name of that baby is. And then show birth notification details, I enable that. So again, oh, this is the one that tells you the name of the babies born and their names and everything. And then hit back to save it. And then pregnancy notifications. I also like to set this to all so you know who is pregnant with who. And it just tells you on those days that you have the check set. Okay, so that was all under MC pregnancy again, so we're gonna go back. Now we're gonna go to MC Woohoo. One thing I want to add is that the only way to get the MC Woohoo and the MC pregnancy tabs, I believe, you have to download the Woohoo module from Deaderpool's account, and I will link those in the description so that they're nice in there and up to date for you guys. But if you want to allow teen parenting, you need the MC Woohoo tab. You have to. So you would go to Woohoo Actions and allow teens, and then enable. And this will allow you to let teens woohoo. You will get a little orange box in the top right corner of your game that says that this was changed to true. A game restart is required for this setting change to take effect. It's perfectly normal. Finish changing the rest of your settings because a lot of settings are going to require you to actually restart the game. So get everything you want to change in now and then restart your game. And then no strings woohoo means you can have sims with any level of friendship woohoo. Allow try for baby. This is allowed, so your sims can try for babies. And then you can either enable it for elders if you would like, and you can also enable it for family if you would like. I personally don't see why you would, but you do you. Now, one thing, if you go to Woohoo Pregnancy, there's the Risky Woohoo, and this is honestly one of my favorite features. This means you can have sims that woohoo, they still have a chance of getting pregnant. So I like to set mine low, so we're going to leave it at a 7%. So there's just a 7% chance that any woohoo will lead to my sim getting pregnant. And then you just enable fertility and risky so that the percent that you added actually takes effect. Try for baby percent. If you increase this number to above 80, that means you have a higher chance of your sim becoming pregnant. If you move, the lower you make the number, the harder of a time they're going to have getting pregnant. Okay. And then you can change if you want same-sex pregnancy, opposite sex, all that good stuff. Other settings, so anonymous woohoo, you can have it set if your sims will randomly ask their partners if they want a woohoo. The default is enabled, so I'm going to leave it at enabled personally. Anonymous try for baby. This means your sims could randomly go up to another sim and just be like, hey, yo, I like you, let's try for baby. I personally like leaving it disabled. I like controlling whether my sims are going to have babies or not. But you can set it to woohoo if that's, or enabled if that's what you prefer. Okay, and then extreme woohoo increases the chances of your Sims randomly asking to do the deed. Okay, so if we go to other settings, also, oh, that's where we just were, my bad. Okay, so I have just a few minutes, so I want to go over some cool features. In MCC settings, you can go to money settings and pay child support. I like setting this to all, which means if you have two Sims and they have a children but they don't live together, the Sim that doesn't have the child living in there will have to pay child support. If you set it to all, that means whether they're married or unmarried, if they're just dating, if they're not even dating, if that Sim is the parent to a child, they have to pay child support. So I like having that enabled, but I also like keeping the percent to about 3%. Um, so it's not like ridiculously low, but it's not really high either. It's still a pretty low amount. And then you can also enable if you want the bills to be auto paid. And I'm actually going to enable this because I tend to forget my Sims have bills to pay, and to be perfectly honest, and my power gets shut off all the time, but they have the money. So having this enabled just means that if they have the money in their account to pay their bills, the second those bills pop up, the money's going to be taken out and the bills are going to be paid without me having to do anything because I forget. And then another thing, so if you guys don't like the monster under the bed, you will just go to MC Tuner and change interaction behavior. And here you can have a friendly, ask them if they want to stay the night, ask them in a non-romantic way if they're single. You can turn off emotional deaths if you want to do that. If you're tired of your Sims just getting so embarrassed or mad about something and they just die, especially of laughter. I hear a lot of people having issues with that one. You can turn off those deaths. You can make Sims stop randomly flirting, and I'm going to enable that because little Miss Haley in this family, you can't see her because of how I have my screen resolution set up right now for this, but her and her husband have both flirted with random people on their own, so we're going to stop some random flirting because they're supposed to be loyal to each other. You can allow multiple best friends forevers and allow monster under the bed. I am going to disable this because I'm sick of having 3 kids in my household and all of them are waking up in the middle of the night because of a monster under the bed. So yeah, those are all the settings I have set for my game. Occult, that takes care of your vampires and aliens. If you guys are curious about that, just leave a comment question down below and I will gladly answer that for you. But yeah, that's pretty much it. MC Command Center is really simple and easy to understand, and I hope this video helped you guys a lot. You can ask any questions if you have any. I'll be more than happy to try and answer them for you. And best of luck, have fun, and happy simming.